Today is the first phase of this orchid repot that has babies growing on the stems instead of flowers. It's planted in this really dry moss, so I'm going to show you how to take it out of there. A lot of times when you have plants or you're repotting plants that are really dry in their soil or their moss, they can be difficult to get out because the roots stick to the sides of the pot. So sometimes you can push up through the center and it comes out really easily, or I'll grab a chopstick and kind of loosen up the edges, and then it tends to come out. Had some styrofoam in the bottom, which isn't the biggest deal in the world. It actually is going to help with drainage a little bit, which is fantastic for these orchids, especially when they're in moss like this. It can be advantageous to add a little bit of extra drainage like the moss or like the styrofoam. Here I'm cutting off the dead roots. Dead roots are going to be mushy or papery thin. They're going to be anything but firm, basically. So now I've got it in a clear pot and I'm using orchid bark. Orchid bark is going to dry out much faster. And the reason for slapping the pot is to settle the orchid bark around the roots. The orchid bark is going to kind of retain a little bit of moisture and nutrients, and the roots are going to be pulling that moisture and nutrients from the bark. So it's important that they can grab it. So if they can't touch it, then they can't grab it. So that's why we slap the pots a little bit. Now you can also grab your chopstick and sort of poke it down in there. This is why it's advantageous to plant in a clear pot, because you can kind of see those gaps and make up for it with your chopstick. Just kind of be gentle when you're doing this so that you don't break any of the roots, which is also a good tip when you're staking your orchid. I'm not quite done with this one and I need it to stay upright, so just be gentle when you're putting your stakes or anything in and around the roots so you don't break any of them, because there's only a few of them. This one had some dry rot or maybe some root rot, I'm not really sure, but in any case it lost quite a bit of the roots, so we want to save as many as we can. And then we're going to give it a good soak, and then tomorrow I'm going to chop off these orchid babies.